Hi all, welcome to the A-Level Law Essay channel. In this episode, I'll be covering a past year papers question 4 from 9084/42, paper 4 Law of Tort, May-June 2019. Please note that this video tutorial is a 3-part series. This being part 1, I will only be briefly reviewing the question and the marking scheme. If you wish to skip straight to part 2 content guide for this past year paper question, please click on the card above or the link in the description below this video. However, it is recommended that you stay for this past year paper question review to fully understand how to answer the question, as I will be emphasizing this video review on the marking scheme. Before we begin, please subscribe to my channel for more video guides on essay writing and many other interesting topics. With that said, let's get started with part 1 past year paper question review of video tutorial number 14. Question. The question reads, Julian, his wife Helen and their 4-year-old child Oliver are staying in a cabin at the XYZ holiday park. On the first evening, Julian sustains a head injury when he falls on the steep steps up to the door of the cabin. There is no handrail and the light above the door is not working. There is a warning sign near the steps, but Julian cannot read it in the dark. The following day, whilst Julian is being treated at the hospital, Helen lets Oliver go to the children's play area alone. The climbing frame in the play area is damaged and a sign has been placed on it stating, "Danger, do not use." As Oliver starts climbing on it, a large section becomes detached and he falls to the ground, sustaining a broken leg. Advise the parties as to their rights and responsibilities in this situation. 25 marks. Questions like these are very typical for any A2 tort law examination, and it is pretty much simple and straightforward, so it is definitely advisable that candidates actually attempt it. Also, because the question asks the candidate to advise all the parties involved, candidates will have more freedom in how he or she actually addresses it, meaning that candidates are free to explore every angle of the scenario and write the essay answer with a rather general focus instead of a specific focus. Marking scheme. The following is the marking scheme provided by CAIE on how to answer the question and what is expected of the candidate to obtain the highest band mark for their effort. Point 1. The focus of this question is Occupiers Liability under the Occupiers Liability Act 1957. Scenarios involving people getting injured while on premises are the most obvious indication that the main topic of discussion is on Occupiers Liability. And so, before we get into the crux of the answer, the basic concept of Occupiers Liability should be briefly explored. Point 2. Candidates should explain the main elements of liability under the OLA 1957, including explanation of key terms, occupier, premises, visitor, the nature of the duty under the 1957 Act, children and the 1957 Act, parental responsibility, allurement, defenses, avoiding liability. Relevant case law should be used to support the explanation. Candidates should then apply the relevant law to the facts of the scenario. An occupiers liability question can possibly involve anything from the topic, but it will usually only concern a few important elements from the entire topic. Usually, the first thing you need to look out for is whether or not the scenario concerns a visitor or trespasser, and whether or not these visitors or trespassers are adults or children. Other than that, it would also be good to look out for anything that can help the occupier, i.e., any defenses within the scenario that can help the defendant occupier to avoid liability. Incidentally to this, candidates attempting an occupiers liability question should also be ready to accurately distinguish the subtle differences between the 1957 Act and the 1984 Act. Otherwise, parts or the whole answer might go completely wrong. Point 3. Candidates could examine the following issues. The fall on the steps. Is the occupier liable for this? The warning sign, is it effective? The injury to the child, should occupier have taken greater care? Parental supervision. Is the climbing frame an allurement? Extra precautions? Possible OLA 1984 in relation to the climbing frame. Every aspect of the scenario must be scrutinized and examined. Nothing should be left out if the candidate wishes to score the highest band mark for their effort. This is especially so when the question asks the candidate both or all the parties that are involved in the incident. The scenario might seem short and simple, but candidates must have keen eyes to spot all the issues that is present within the scenario. Here, candidates need to be a bit more creative and think out of the box, so that every little issue within the scenario can be addressed as much as possible. I can tell you that it's not very easy to think broadly and at the same time quickly under examination condition, but with proper practice, training and guidance, it can be done by anyone. Point 4. Credit should be awarded for discussion of an alternative claim in general negligence. As usual, the examination doesn't just impose on us, but we must also challenge ourselves to see what else we can do to make our answer even better, especially when the question asks us to advise both or all parties involved in the incident. Therefore, it wouldn't be completely unreasonable for us to consider something out of the main topic, i.e. here being occupiers liability. This is because every law student and lawyer would know that if you cannot argue your way out of one method, there are various other methods for which you can argue your way out of things. But of course, it should be noted that this is just an examination question that is timed, and we must first and foremost address the main topic for which the examination wants us to discuss. Anything else is considered as alternative discussion, and it shouldn't be focused on or given too much weight. Otherwise, the whole answer will be completely wrong. Imagine if the examiner wants you to discuss occupiers liability, and then you go on and ignore it and carry on discussing general negligence. You will get low to no marks for your effort. Point 5. Candidates must explain the law, and in order to achieve the higher bands, candidates must also apply the law in a logical fashion to the facts and reach a coherent conclusion. As usual, the overall essay must be excellent if the student wishes to obtain a high band mark for his or her essay. And like the marking scheme says, the essay must apply the law in a logical fashion to the facts and reach a coherent conclusion so that individual examiner can be convinced to give a high band mark. This is the end of Part 1, Past Year Paper Question Review of video tutorial number 14. If you have any questions or opinions on the question and marking scheme, or if you have any past year paper question you would like me to review, please do comment below. Do check out Part 2 of this video tutorial, where I will go through with you the content guide for this question and how to answer it. I will put a link to it in the description below. If you find this video tutorial useful, please like, share and subscribe to my channel for more. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again next time.